Hello, everybody. Myself, Prasanta Mukhopadhyay, faculty member, Electrical Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. So, in this power electronics and drive class, so far we have discussed different types of choppers. So, DC choppers, particularly type A, B, C, D, and their operating principles, waveforms, etc. We have discussed. Today, actually, we'll discuss about the commutation techniques of, DC choppers. Particularly, so far we have discussed that is chopper is considered as an ideal on-off switch, and power switch used can be any power semiconductor types devices like SCR, power BJT, power MOSFET, IGBT, MCT, etc. And the power device is used as a switch must satisfy the required voltage and current ratings. And the use of these devices, however, decides the performance of a chopper in this manner. So, as the operating frequency increases, the size of the inductance required to make the current continuous decreases. Inductance required to make the current continuous decreases. Hence, the size and cost of the chopper decreases, and the efficiency and reliability increases, and the operating frequency of the power devices is minimum for SCR and maximum for power MOSFET. So the power devices have defined power capabilities, operating frequency, and different getting requirements. And the power level of SCR is highest, and the power level for MOSFET is the lowest. And getting requirements of transistors are complex, while for MOSFET, IGBT, and MCT are simplest. Hence, different power devices are suitable for different requirements. As for example, for high power levels, SCR is the choice, whereas for low power levels, MOSFET can be used so that getting requirements are simplest, and operating frequency can be made higher to reduce the size of the chopper. So SCR-based chopper circuit particularly consists of a main power SCR switch together with a commutation circuitry to turn it off, and there are several ways in which an SCR can be turned off, and commutation techniques used for the DC choppers are particularly forced commutations. This type of forced commutation current to the resistor is forced to become zero to turn it off, and this can be accomplished in two ways, either by voltage commutations and or current commutations. And in voltage commutation scheme, charge capacitor momentarily reverse biases the conducting SCR and turns it off. And in current commutation technique, a current pulse is forced in the reverse direction through the conducting SCRs, and as the net current becomes zero, the resistor is turned off. And another method is used as that is actually load commutations. Basically, in this type of commutation, the load current flowing through the SCR either becomes zero, as in case of natural line commutations employed in converters, or is transferred to another device from the conducting resistors. So, basically, under force commutations, it may be voltage commutations or current commutations, and under load commutation techniques, it may be either natural or line commutation, or it is transferred to another device by conducting thyristors from the conducting thyristors. So, first of all, we'll discuss about voltage commutated chopper, so which is also known as the impulse commutated chopper. So basically, this impulse commutated chopper is shown here. So this is an impulse commutated chopper or voltage commutated chopper circuit. See, this is the circuit diagram of a voltage commutated chopper. So the basic power circuit diagram of the voltage commutated chopper is it comprises with an auxiliary SCR T2, a diode. This is the auxiliary thyristors. This is a commutation circuit, comprises of auxiliary resistor T2, a diode D, and inductor L. This is the inductor L, a capacitor C, and the main power switch is this SCR T1. Okay, so you have to turn it off, this SCR that is T1, and this is this auxiliary thyristors T2, this power diode, this inductor, this capacitors are the part or components of the commutating circuits. Okay, so to start the circuit, capacitor C is initially charged with the polarity that is shown here. So this is positive, this is negative, and this is upper plate positive and lower plate negative. And so the capacitor C, by triggering, it is charged by triggering this SCRT2. If it is SCRT2 is charged, so this will be the charging path. Okay. This capacitor will be charged in this way. Clear? So basically, capacitor C gets charged to the part EDC plus, that is from this. Then this is C positive, then C negative, then T2, then L, then L1 load actually. So actually in this way, L1 load. Okay, and then EDC minus. Okay, this is the charging path in this way. Okay, this is the charging path. So as the charging current decays to 0, this auxiliary thyristors T2 will be turned off, and this is the associated voltage and current waveforms of this mode. So that is shown here in figure 8.27. This is actually the current and voltage path. This is the current path. Okay, and this is actually voltage path. Clear? So basically, this is actually voltage and current is shown here. So in this figure, the reverse voltage is the capacitor current first, load current. This is actually the load gets connected. For that you have to consider these operations in this way. For the convenience, the chopper operation is divided into certain modes, and is which is discussed here. So factually, at mode 1 operations, that is between T is in between 0 to T2. So that is shown here. So for this mode 1 operation between T to T2, basically this is T2. Okay, from T0 to T2. This is mode 1 operations. Okay, so this actually the mode 1 operations. So in mode 1 operations, the main SCR T1 is triggered at T0. Source current flows in the two path. Load current I0 constitutes one path, and commutation current IC and the other path. So this is actually this is the load current, and IC is the another path. So this is the way. Okay, clear? Two path, and at the while the triggering of thyristor T1, load gets connected to the supply, and the load voltage is equal to EDC. This is actually E0, this is equal to EDC. When it is connected, so it's a switch on. So this will be like this. Clear? And load current I0 flowing through the part EDC plus, then T1 load, then EDC minus. Whereas the commutating current IC flows through the part like this. Okay, so this is like this. So actually, this will be C plus T1 L D C negative. So this is the part. Okay, clear? So that is C positive. Then what it is? C positive T1 L D C negative. in this way. How? No, this is actually like this. This is like this. Okay. So the capacitor current first rises from 0 to maximum value when the voltage across capacitor C is 0 at t equal to T1 by 2, and as IC decreases to 0, capacitor is charged to a reverse voltage minus EDC at t equal to T1. So that is shown here in figure, and the reverse voltage on capacitor is held constant by diode D. Okay, t equal to T1. So see, this is actually getting signal of resistor 1, load current. This is charging current. Okay, this is the current to resistor 1, and this is actually capacitor voltage at T1 by 2, that is shown. Okay, this is auxiliary resistors voltage, and this is output voltage. Here, this is for mode 1, from 0 to T2. Okay, so basically what we are finding here, so during this mode Vc equal to Et1, that is shown here, Vc equal to Et1. Okay, this is Vc equal to Et1, and during not that, at t equal to 0, t equal to 0 voltage across auxiliary thyristor T2 is minus EDC, whereas it is 0 at T1 by 2, and EDC at T1. Okay, and it is EDC at T1. So this voltage variation is shown in the as cosine wave in the figure in the of the waveforms. So therefore, at t equal to T1, IT1 equal to I0, Vc equal to minus EDC, ETC equal to EDC, and E0 equal to EDC. So that is shown in figure. So this continues up to the period t equal to T2. So that is shown here. Okay, so this is the case here up to T2. So this mode will continue. Okay. Now actually this is for mode 1, and for mode 2 operations, so that is between t is between T2 to T3, and at a desired instant T2, the auxiliary SCR T2 is to be triggered for turning of the main SCR T1, and with the timing on of T2, reverse capacitor voltage minus EDC appears across T1, which reverse biases it and turns it off. So since the capacitor voltage commutates the main SCR T1, the given circuit of this figure, so which is shown here, is called the voltage commutated chopper, and current I2 becomes 0 at T2. And after SCR T1 is turned off, the capacitor C and SCR T2 provide the path for current I0 to EDCC T2 load. Okay. So this is like this here. So so actually so the load voltage is the sum of source voltage and the voltage across the capacitor. Hence at instant T2, the voltage is E0 is EDC plus EDC, that is 2 EDC, and it decreases linearly as the voltage across the capacitor decreases. And during this mode, Vc equal to Et1, and since the capacitor is directly connected across thyristor 1 to thyristor 2, and as the capacitor discharges to the load, Vc and Et1 change from minus EDC to 0 at T2 plus TQ. So load voltage E0 changes from to EDC at T2 to EDC at T2 plus TQ. And after T2 plus TQ, Vc and say Et1 start rising from 0 towards EDC, whereas E0 starts falling towards 0. Hence, in this mode, Vc and Et1 change linearly from minus. So as I told you, in mode 2, when VC and ET1 change linearly from minus EDC at T2 to EDC at T3, and since load current I0 is assumed constant, so similarly E0 changes linearly from 2 EDC to at T2 to 0 at T3, and that is shown here. So that is shown in this waveform. So this is in mode 2. Okay, this is shown in mode 2. And in mode 3 operation, that is timing between T3 to T4. So for this mode, T3 to T4, that is the time period T. So at T3, VC equal to ET1. So at T3, VC equal to, say, VC equal to ET1. And this is shown here actually. This is equal to ET1 equal to EDC. This equal to ET1 equal to EDC, and E0 on the output voltage E0 equal to how much? Equal to 0. So actually this is equal to 0. E0 equal to 0. Okay, and capacitor current decays to 0, and capacitor current, if you go to the capacitor current, it is also decays to 0. Okay, so this is capacitor current is also 0. Okay, now SCR2 turns off, therefore SCR2 turns off naturally. So actually, if you go to the current to SCR2, actually ET2, it turns off 0. So actually it is turns off naturally. So it is turns off naturally. So at T3, since capacitor is slightly overcharged, so freewheeling diode gets forward biased. So here it is. This is the freewheeling diode. So this is the freewheeling diode. So since it is overcharged, this capacitor, so it is forward biased. Okay. So what will happen as a result of this forward biased conditions of the freewheeling diode? So the load current after T3 freewheels through this diode. So basically, note that during a freewheeling period, from say T3 to T, that is the conduction period, total period. So it is ET2 is slightly negative as capacitor C is somewhat overcharged. And thus during this mode IC equal to 0 and IT1 equal to also 0, that is the current through thyristor 1 is 0. I8, that is the load current, that is equal to maximum IOM. Okay, so IOM, that is I0 equal to the maximum, I0 equal to the maximum, which is IOM, ET1 equal to EDC, E0 equal to 0, and I2, IT2 equal to 0. So now at T equal to T, the main thyristor T1 is triggered again, and the cycle as described from T equal to 0 to T equal to T repeats. Okay, so this is actually the voltage or impulse commutated choppers operations. So there are basically this is the voltage commutated chopper circuits, and here commutating circuits consisting of these auxiliary thyristors, this inductor, this power diode, and this capacitors. This is the thyristors whom I want to commutate, and this is a load cycle. This is freewheeling diodes, and in mode 1 operation, that is from time period 0 to T2, its operational procedures has been discussed. Okay, and mode 2, that is from T2 to T3, it is operations are also discussed, and its different waveforms also discussed, and at the last, the mode 3, that is from T3 to T4 is also discussed. Okay, so this is actually will be clear from the circuit diagram as well as from this related voltage and current waveforms of this circuit operations. So after T3 equal T equal to T4, that is T equal to T, that is the entire time period of operational process, so completion of the from mode 1 to mode 3. So the process repeats again as it was started from t equal to 0 to t equal to capital T. So this is actually the voltage commutated chopper. What is the disadvantage of this chopper? So disadvantage, since voltage commutated chopper circuit is a simple chopper circuit, it is therefore widely used. However, it suffers from certain disadvantages. Is the starting circuit is required first of all, and the starting circuit such as logic circuit should be such that it triggers auxiliary SCR T2 first. So first T2 will be operated so that the capacitor of the commutating circuit can be charged. Okay, load voltage jumps to twice the supply voltage when the computation is initiated. That's why that disadvantage. And the circuit imposed turn of time is load dependent. Of course, this is also another disadvantage. And at very low load currents, the capacitor takes longer time to discharge, and thus limiting the frequency of the chopper. And another disadvantage is this circuit does not work at no load conditions, because at no load capacitor will not get charged from minus EDC to EDC, and auxiliary SCR, that is SCR2, is triggered for commutating the main SCR-T1. So that is the capacitor voltage fails to commutate. So, and the main thyristor T1 has to carry the load current as well as the commutation current both. So these are the say 5 disadvantages. Once again, I'm repeating: starting current is required, starting circuit is required. That is, starting circuits such as logic circuits should be such that it triggers auxiliary thyristor T2 first. Then load voltage jumps to twice the supply voltage when the computation is initiated, and the circuit imposed turn of time is load dependent, and at very low load current, the capacitor takes longer time to discharge, and thus limiting the frequency of the chopper. And this circuit does not work at no load conditions, because at no load capacitor will not get charged from minus EDC to EDC when auxiliary SCR-T2 is triggered for commutating the main SCR-T1, and that is the capacitor voltage fails to commutate. And the main thyristor T1 has to carry both the load current as well as the commutation current. So basically, what are the design considerations of this voltage commutated chopper? So basically, we have to select the commutating capacitor and the say commutating inductors for design. So commutating capacitors value is based on the turn on time TQ available for main thyristor T1, and during this time TQ the capacitor voltage rises from minus DCC to 0 as explained in mode 2 operations, and it is known that IC, the capacitor voltage is C dVC dt. VC is the capacitor voltage, and for instant load current IOM, that is the maximum load current during computations. The representation can be written is IOM equal to C EDC by TQ, or C equal to IOM TQ by EDC. So where IOM is the maximum load current, and circuit turn of time TQ must be greater than the SCR turn off for reliable computation. So let TQ equal to turn off plus delta T, or some time which is more than the turn off time. In totality, TQ is T of plus delta T, so therefore C equal to IOM T of plus delta T by EDC. So this is the design considerations of the commutating capacitors. And for commutating inductor, design criteria for inductor L is based on the peak value of the capacitor current IC, which flows to thyristor 1 T1 when it is triggered, and the time T1 minus T0, or during which the capacitor current pulse lasts. So when SCR T1 is triggered, the capacitor current IC flows through the ringing circuit formed by C main thyristor T1, L and D, and is given by IC equal to EDC sine omega RT by omega R into L. So where omega R equal to the ringing frequency, there is 1 by root over LC, U twice by TR in radians per second, and TR is equal to 2T minus T0. Therefore, IC equal to EDC root over C by L sine omega T. So also the peak capacitor current ICP is given by EDC by omega L, that is equal to EDC into root over C by L. So when T1 is turned on, it carries both the load current and the peak capacitor current, and it is usual to take ICP less than or equal to the load current, the maximum load current value IOM, so that the peak current implies that T1 is not unnecessarily large. That is, ICP is less than equal to IOM or EDC into root over of C by L is less than equal to IOM. Okay, so L is greater than C into EDC by IM square. So by selecting a small value of commutating inductance L, the resetting time T1 minus T0 can be reduced, and it can be seen from this equation of ICP that the small value of inductance L increases the peak value of the capacitor current, and also if the duration T1 minus T0 is large, the range of load voltage is reduced. Therefore, the minimum load voltage is given by EO minimum, that is the minimum output voltage of load voltage equal to T1 minus T0 by capital T, that is the conduction time, and into EDC, so total operation time T. So T is the chopping period of the chopper, that is called. Or EO minimum equal to pi into root over LC by T into EDC. So minimum value of load voltage should be equal or to or less than 10% of the supply voltage EDC in order to vary the load voltage over a wide range. And therefore, T1 minus T0 by T, EDC is less than equal to 0.1, or EDC or T1 minus T0 by T is less than equal to 0.1. Okay, so we can write pi into root over of LC by T is less than equal to 0.1, or L is less than equal to 0.01 T square by pi square C. So if the duty cycle has to be reduced, inductance L value has to be decreased, but the peak capacitor current increases. Hence, a compromise has to be made between this equation, this of 0 minimum, and this. Okay, so this two compromises to be made. So that is actually the discussions of voltage operated chopper or impulse chopper functions, its design considerations, its disadvantages, etc. we have discussed. This is but today itself, up to this is voltage operated, up to voltage operated chopper, and we can't start a new topic today because of it will not be possible for us to complete the topics in this period. So once again, I'm telling you, so this chopper actually, so that the commutation technique or methods of the choppers are either by force commutations, or and that is say voltage commutated chopper or the current commutated choppers, and then we'll discuss load commutated choppers. And today, so we have discussed this voltage commutated or impulse choppers. It's circuit diagram, its operating modes, that is from mode 1 to mode 3, and how its operations enables us to get the related voltage and current waveforms of these voltage operated choppers. And also we have discussed about this is voltage commutated commutated or impulse commutated choppers, and also we have discussed the design considerations of the commutating circuits main component, that is capacitors C and L, and what is the say compromise you have to make to get between these two components so that say suitable commutated voltage commutated chopper circuit can be designed.